Here with my teen stash today, with my bits of weird hair on my lip that doesn't resemble something someone in their 40s would normally have. And my weird looking sticky uppy coronavirus haircut. Um, I want to talk about passing. Because it's complicated. Now, what is so complicated about it? Well, you see, to begin with, no amount of having a female body ever convinced me that I was a woman. Years and years of existing in a body that signaled to everyone else that I was a woman never convinced me of that fact. So, what has my body changing got to do with anything apart from affording me the luxury of being treated as I see myself, of being perceived by others as I feel that I am? Now, earlier in my transition, I went through a period of thinking that surgeries and hormones were largely for the benefit of others, so that other people would perceive me the way I perceived myself and treat me accordingly so I could feel more comfortable in my own skin. But that other part, the feeling comfortable in your own skin, that's not contingent on other people. That's something for me by me, right? And that's what transitioning really gives. And so with regards to passing, it's almost like other people don't matter. What does that mean? Furthermore, I've got some stories, from before I started taking any hormones. From years and years before I started taking any hormones. Even from when I was a very small child. Of not being able to pass for the gender that society had deemed was the appropriate one. When I was about 6 or 7, I was at school, and it was lunch break, and I needed to use a toilet. And so there were two buildings in my school. There was a main building, and there was another second building that mostly had the smallest kids in it. But I liked the toilets there because, and I mean, I'll be singing to the choir here. I've always struggled with toilets all my life. It's been a struggle because of the disconnect. Is not something that only, as the story will illustrate, affects me, but also other people's perception of me. So, here I am about 6 or 7. I go into the little kids' building to use the toilets that have hardly anyone in them. And there I encounter not a younger girl, an older one, who's probably about 10. When I come in, she starts hollering at me that I'm in the wrong toilet because I look like a little boy. And I carried myself like a little boy, and I acted like a little boy, and I felt like a little boy, and I was a little boy. But I was forced to use the girls' toilets, in spite of how I looked. And this girl was reacting to that, and she said she didn't believe me. She asked me my name. I told her my name that I will not repeat here. And she asked me what class I was in. I told her what class I was in, and she went and she found a supervisor, not a teacher, but like an adult who would supervise us over lunch, who came in and started him with the very same questions. What was I doing in there? What's my name? What's my class? And I answered her questions, but she didn't take on faith my answers. And so she asked me, even though the student was still standing right next to her, to take down my pants and my underwear and show her that I was in the right toilet. Because I couldn't pass for female. Now, sure, that's at age 6, 7, and then these boobs go in, and you think that'd be the end of that story, but I continued to struggle with women's toilets my entire life. And I thought that that would come to an end. But now I have the struggle of being perceived as female in male's toilets. It's just the other side of the whole thing. And passing then weighs at you, doesn't it? Because there are things that are contingent on passing in order to be able to move smoothly through the world, like using public restrooms. So what am I saying I want to pass? I mean, what is that? It means I want other people to see me the way I see myself. Is that it? Can I have a reasonable expectation of that? And what does it mean? In order to affect how other people perceive me and get them to perceive me the way that I want, I have to change myself into their idea of what I should be. Something doesn't seem right there. Societal views of masculinity are problematic, to say the least. Does that mean that I have to embody stereotypes in order to come across as male to a wider public? I propose it's both impossible and irrelevant to worry about passing in the minds of others. And here's why. Even if you were not transitioning, you're gonna meet people in your daily life, maybe a little bit less so now, but we assume in the future it's gonna happen again. You're gonna be encountering people you don't know. And they're gonna have their entire lives worth of experiences that lead them to make the conclusions that they make. That's just how we are. We're all little memory computers going about life, filtering everything through our experiences. And so it's impossible for you to have any dominion over the thoughts of others with your regard. It's none of your concern. It's none of your damn business. So what's passing then? Passing is a feeling that you get when you've convinced yourself and you feel comfortable with it. And it's that comfort and ease that you travel through the world with that I think is the only really substantive part of passing. And so, that's entirely up to you. No one can give that to you. That's something, as I was saying, no one can give that to you. That's something that you have to manifest for yourself. And, it can be ephemeral and ineffable and flit in and out of existence with you, but that's life too. The contrasts are necessary. Anyway, you get to decide when you pass. That's what I'm trying to tell you. No one else can tell you that for you. Just like no one else can tell you you exist, or justify or negate your existence with their words, thoughts, ignorance, preconceptions, those preformed experiences we were talking about. It's all down to you. You get to decide. So tell me, do you pass? Do I pass? Today I decide I pass.